My next guy that I want to go to, my final guy that I'll bring up for the show, I'll stick with wide receiver. I'll go with the flashy positions today. It's all right. I'll let that be my cross to bear.
I figured you would. Like, that's why I was like,
oh, really? Was it the hair gel? What gave it away? You know, what gave away that I was going to leave?
It's probably the hair, I think, yeah.
So Brian Thomas Jr., obviously the Jags didn't come away with the win. They could have. They were close. Probably should have. But I was so impressed with Brian Thomas Jr., and I really like this draft pick a lot for a team that very clearly wanted to push the ball deep down the field last year. They were top 10 or top 5 in throws 20 or more yards down the field, in attempts, big-time throws, completion percentage, yards, everything. It's what they wanted to do. In this offseason, they got receivers to be able to do it. I think Brian Thomas Jr. headlines all of that very, very soon. Played 22 receiving snaps against on Sunday against Miami. 76.2 receiving grade, had 4 catches for 47 yards, already a 20% wide receiver usage or threat percentage. You can tell that Lawrence just wants to rip it to this guy. When he's on the field and when he is running those vertical routes, like you talk about Harrison Jr. maybe playing a little bit reserved, not as confident. Brian Thomas Jr. is out there playing confident, I feel like. And Lawrence is looking his way often. So it was 4 catches this game. I think that will continue to go up, specifically on third down. Third down was an area where I thought the Jags really struggled yesterday. They were 2 for 10 against Miami. I think that they really struggled on third down last year as well. And they had 2 attempts where they went to Christian Kirk on third down, and I think he had 2 drops on third down, if I remember correctly. They went to Brian Thomas Jr. once on third down, and it was the touchdown in the back of the end zone. I think that when people look at BTJ, they think of him as just a vertical threat. And obviously that's what he brings to the table first and foremost. But he is so explosive, and he has such great body control that you were seeing some speed outs that he was creating a lot of separation as well. And I think it's only a matter of time that we really start expanding the route tree for this guy to get even inside the numbers as well. A lot of stuff's outside the numbers right now with him. But I was really impressed going through all of his receiving snaps, seeing not just the times that he got thrown the football, but the times where I go, man, if this is week 1 for you, I think he's going to be option number 1 in the passing game for this team sooner rather than later. And I think that he could be in for a major year as long as he is healthy, because the Jags and what they want to do as a team lean so much into what he does very well. So very impressed with Brian Thomas Jr. yesterday, even though it was 4 catches, 47 yards. The touchdown catch was great. The chemistry that Lawrence already has with that kind of speed, you could see on the touchdown throw, is already at a really high level. And I think that as he continues to round himself out more as a route runner, which I think he will because of that body control and explosiveness, I just think that we're going to see some really good connections between him and Lawrence, or between him and Lawrence as the season goes on. So big fan of what I saw as a baseline for what Brian Thomas Jr. did on Sunday.
Oh yeah, he looked great. I mean, this was, if you were a Brian Thomas Jr. fan, like pre-draft, you have to be thrilled, because he was a risky player, I think. And the big question was, is he going to figure out how to play like the game? Like, he ran like 3 routes at LSU.
Right.
Just like, it was kind of like, is he going to continue to be good in the NFL? Like, it's just such a mental position. It's so different when you get to this level. Everybody agreed he had unreal traits, and that's basically why he was drafted. But it's just an upside play. And so the fact that he looked this good week 1 is crazy, because he's not a player you'd be that worried about if he had like a middling rookie year.
Exactly.
You'd be like, okay, he's young, he's inexperienced. Like, it's a long-term payoff, you know what I mean, for him. So, I mean, the underthrown ball that ended up being a flag, I think his first target of the game in the first quarter, he beats a guy deep, and the ball's underthrown by Lawrence off a play action shot. He draws the flag anyway. Like, that's a touchdown if the ball's on the money. Way he worked across the field and kept moving through the zones to find space. That's a heady veteran caliber type of play. He didn't have to do a lot of these things at LSU because, like you said earlier when we were talking about Jaden Daniels, these guys were always wide open.
He's just better. He's just better than every corner that he went up against, right?
You're right. It was just athletically, it was ridiculous at times. Like, nobody could stop a lot of the things they did. What I still liked about Thomas was I felt like when he had opportunities to show ball skills and post-catch ability, he did that on tape. And so that just showed like there were some instincts there. I think there was some level of nuance to his game. But I did think he was kind of a question mark overall. And I did really love his tape. I just didn't know how it would fit to the NFL. So, yeah, I mean, to see him moving this way week 1, to see him winning in against man coverage, to see him get getting out of his route breaks with certainty. I mean, I thought he projected sort of like a Jamison Williams in terms of what they looked like in college. And then will they be able to do more in the NFL? And you see for a guy like Williams, I mean, there's been other things, and I think they're different people, but it's taken him years, and I think he's getting there now, but it's not been that way. It doesn't look like it's going to be that way with Thomas, and obviously they trust him enough to put him out there week 1. So I super, super impressed. I think you have to be feeling really good if you were a Thomas fan pre-draft.